Peace and blessings, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is Monday, the 5th. Oh, correction, the 6th of November 2017. How I hope that wherever you are well, you are grounded, you're speaking your truth, and of course, placing God first in everything you do. Because there's only one you. And now more than ever, it is required that you go within yourself. That's right. Do you realize how many people are terrified to have a relationship with themselves? But it is that same energy that they long for. Who am I talking to? And I'm saying this for a reason because, family, let me tell you something. You can't get back this past weekend. You can't get back 6 months ago. You can't get back 6 years. But there's a reason why I'm putting this all in perspective. Because listen, you blink twice, family, and these next 180 days are going to flash by, and you are going to be in May. That's right. That's right. He said, well, Gerald, why is it you're talking about May so much? Because May is all about spring. It is also about the validation of the seeds that you have planted through your efforts, through your clarity, through your decision making now. So as you already know, we just had daylight savings time. We lost an hour. And now things are going to start to slow down a little bit. And this is the time where thoughts become actions and actions become application. And through the next 6 months, your harvest is going to come. Your validation for who you are, it will be solidified even more. And I'm saying this to somebody because for the last 6 to 8 months, you've actually started to do the work. You're starting to see your world in a different perspective. At times, the frustration, you have more control now. You're starting to understand that the things that make your reality is a derivative of your state of mind, and you're ready to make a choice. Yes, you're going to be a little nervous because, see, this is unknown territory, but you know this territory very well because this is the real you. We're talking about that little boy. We're talking about that little girl. And you finally have given yourself concession to go within. I commend you. I commend you. But yes, there is going to be a sacrifice. Come on now. You're not going to be able to go scot-free and think everything is going to fall in place because you got to remember, it is about the application, the process. But what is a process without thought before it? But before you can have a thought, you must first be grounded. That's right. And as you are in that process and you are looking at what is real compared to what was an illusion, what was a temporary distraction. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, there was a door opened up. You said, yeah, this is my lane. And right before you stepped through that door, you caught yourself. You took stock on what was the effect of the actions that got you to that point before the decision. Let me tell you something. Take note on Who were the influences? Also take stock on who was not. Do you see a contrast? Or do you see the contradiction? Maybe this is the moment now, family, that things that you did not understand, the answers are being revealed within yourself spiritually. Look, at the end of the day, you already know you are a spiritual being. I'm going to keep echoing it until the intended ear, intended heart, intended mind finds it, finds them, and they're ready to receive. Sometimes it's not about saving face, because we already know how long that's got. How long has that worked out trying to save face? Huh? How long is that pride and that ego that you have used as a shield because the truth was right on the other side? You may have been given the opportunity to have certain insight to see what was coming down that spiritual track. But because of the momentum, because of the circumstances, because of the factors unbeknownst to you, now you want to throw the brake on now, huh? You see that you're grateful that you didn't go through that door, right? You're glad that there was some intervention. Maybe that intervention was actually disappointment. Maybe that validation was because, as it always been, God has something better. But until we allow ourselves to have permission to give ourselves what we truly need, come on now. Who you fooling? You know that ain't you. That never was you. Why does it feel like every time you're in that situation, in that environment, you got to pull teeth? No, don't you realize if it's meant for you to have, the validation will be there. You'll know. You'll have that inner knowing. We also know that as discernment. But I also understand that there are a lot of people now that will go around the mountain just like the children of Israel did with Moses for that period of time before they were ready to accept what was rightfully theirs, what was rightfully being shown. They had to break off those rough edges. They had to have those conversations within themselves. Because guess what? You don't need anybody's permission to grow. You just have to give permission to do so. Who am I talking to? So I really believe these next 180 days, you're going to put in the work. You're not going to worry about what does not matter because you are in the now. You know, some people like to say, well, I'm in the moment, Gerald. You know, I'm in my lane. Oh, really? You're in your walk. You've always been in your walk. But we're human. We're human. And just as God said in the beginning, there was the word. What does that word? What is just the metaphor, the description of the word? That is vibration. But you don't think that we still don't attract what is found within us? You are the beacon. It is your spirit. You may be at a place where you have found false comfort. You may say, well, that's my niche, Gerald. I like to stay in my lane. I don't want conflict. But the concession by remaining in that choice, there's a lot of blowback. There's a lot of discomfort. You know why there's discomfort there? Because God's ready to take you to the next level. But before you can go forward, you must let go. Who am I talking to? Why are you holding your emotions hostage? Because of what worldly effects you have acquired. You do realize you can't take that with you, right? But how can you have value on worldly effects when you know in your heart of hearts you didn't earn it? It was gifted. So at what price? What price? Your emotional stability? How about that beautiful smile of yours? Huh? I keep saying that to somebody because they keep making excuses for what they lack. Come on, man. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. If people had the clarity to understand and come to accept what is required, what is needed emotionally to be happy, you realize how many people wouldn't be taking vacations? Huh? Paradise is where you are. But if you can't see it, then the frustration will always present itself. Why? It's an illusion. Fear. Finally, everything's a reality. If you don't like your reality, only you can change it. But to change it, that means you've got to acknowledge its presence in your life. You've got to take stock of what has been the precursor time and time and time again. You realize how many people have loyalty to their pain than their peace of mind? You can't buy peace of mind. You don't believe me? Think about the last time you went on a vacation. You didn't relax. You didn't rant. You didn't, after you got past the distractions of the environment, you couldn't buy a peaceful night. But yet we as human beings want to blame it on the physical. Oh, well, I couldn't really rest because I was distracted because it was the pillow, or it was the place we went, or the investment. When truthfully, what you needed was here. It was here the whole time. It's always been there. Do you realize, we'll just use the term pain, right? Everybody knows pain, and pain manifests in different forms. But you know one thing about pain? Pain always brings truth. We don't acknowledge that, right? Think about the time that, like, for example, you could be a person that is in a stupor. You drunk. Let a disappointment be presented right then and there. You will sober up quick. Why? Because pain is validation of what you don't need. But people try to misconstrue pain with strength. You can't have strength until you see value of who you are to begin with. And let's keep it 100, okay? A lot of people have this hang up because they come to this point in their life and they realize that the ideology that they had to that point don't fit where their feet is, doesn't fit their environment. And you realize how many people today suffer from mental illness? You realize that? You realize how many people suffer from internal trauma? Come on now. And what happens? What's the byproduct of trauma? Your life, as you know it, becomes gray. So what's happening emotionally? You're killing yourself slow. You're holding yourself hostage physically. But still, guess what? You still got people that will not acknowledge that they're spiritual beings first. Because look, how is it that there's something that you can't see have such effect on what you think? Why won't we acknowledge that? Because you have to acknowledge that God is real. I'll do you one better. Because you have a lot of people that want to wave the banner of not acknowledging creation, don't get caught up on the image. Don't get caught up on the image because it was written that, because we have a lot of people that, they will fact check you real quick. Well, how are you going to roll past a certain paragraph that breaks it down? If you look at all the signs on this planet, if you just looked at it from a scientific point of view, even the scientists acknowledge where creation came from. And I'm not trying to make this about a conversation about melanin. But the truth of the matter is, this world is only filled with 5 shades of brown. You may have also heard people say, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. That is also illustrated throughout the world, from the things you consume to the things that you indirectly allow to influence and distract. That's a constant reminder. Just like history. You know why we have history? As we evolve as human beings, spiritual beings first, that is God's way of saying to man, do you understand what I'm trying to show you? Do you understand the events that are repeating? And mind you, as a society, I'm saying this from a world position. Those who are in the position of influence, they know the truth. And what did God say? I am the truth. I am the way. So you can't expect growth without them roots, without that connection. Who are you connected to? You connected to man? Because as long as you stay connected to man, you'll never be connected to you, because you won't understand what your foundation is. That is the reason why frustration always permeates within that beautiful mind of yours. If your mind was not, listen, not to beat a dead horse, but haven't you noticed how, let's take that cliche, don't beat a dead horse. But why is it, as human beings, it's intelligent as we were given the tools through that beautiful mind, we'll hold on to dead relationships. You know why people hold on to dead relationships? Because they hold on to dead ideology. They hold on to concepts and beliefs that have no validity, which is really nothing but allegory, man's interpretation of the event. You don't think people change dialogue to better suit them, but you never see them have the same passion when it comes to truth? That is such an absurdity. But let me put that focus right back at you. You are destined for greatness, but your greatness cannot be released, revealed, illustrated until you look in the mirror at that person that was made beautiful from day one. You do also understand, you have to acknowledge, when you're born, you are already made perfect. But as you mature, we are exposed to the world. So does it not surprise you our choices, our foundation, if it's not pure, it's going to get infected. It's going to get distracted. And it can't grow. I know there's somebody right now, I feel your energy. All you want is to have a fruitful friendship. You've already been shown countless examples of what a friend ain't. That's right, I said ain't. But even through those connections, let me correct myself, because a connection that doesn't grow is stagnant. And does that not validate what you've seen thus far? So that's why I always, because I love my millennials, I'm trying to protect you from unnecessary, undue struggle and strife if you just listen. Your relationships ain't built off of this. Your relationship is built here, is validated here. And until you make a decision to get this right, you won't have access to that. And that is the reason why today, the biggest problem we have across the world is dialogue, communication. And it doesn't matter if you have a doctrine, if you don't know how to communicate your thoughts, how far you think you're going to go? How long you think winging it is going to work? How long you think just putting it on a back burner is going to sit well? Because I know that you can name about at least 5 people. When you first interact, you knew that this person was special in their own way, but they choose not to birth it to the world. Why? Because they like the distraction. And they like the acceptance of their peer group too. So let's springboard 180 days. In 180 days, we'll be knocking on the door of summer. We'll be concluding spring, rolling into summer. Have you even thought about what you wish to have accomplished in the next 180 days? You can do a lot You can do a lot in 24 hours, let alone 180 days. Maybe this is the moment you'll finally get out of your way. Maybe this is the moment you're going to really change your life altogether. Because I know there's somebody thinking right now, well, Gerald, I just need to purge. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of all my worldly effects that I've been holding on to. Yeah, I'm talking about that stuff that's in the closet. You got the price tags on. You frustrated and spent top dollar on this thing, and you know the reality costs a fraction to make. But because you're so distracted on the label. Here's the funny thing about it. If you're gonna spend some your hard-earned money on something that truly makes you happy, why aren't your name on it? That's what customs about. But what about customs? You know what customs is? That's shared behavior and knowledge passed from one person to the next. Belief systems, validated. Now we can sit here and point fingers. We can use excuses. But we talk about the next 180 days. You know that your life can be transformed if you just decide to put that one foot down. Put it down. And I mean that metaphorically as make a decision. And you know what's so sad, because this is all the works of the devil too. The devil will place guilt on your spirit and have you second guess what you need to do. And you know you need to do this. But you feel like if I focus on me, I'm going to leave them behind. But don't you realize if they're focusing on them, shouldn't your actions be a reflection to them? They should be doing the same thing. I mean, I understand there's a lot of people think, well, you know what? I need a man that I can walk behind. Well, guess what? That ain't going to be the man that's going to change your last name. Because I'm going to tell you why. The man that's going to change your name, he better have a relationship with himself first. Because if he don't have a relationship with himself, you're dealing with a little boy still trying to figure it out. And if he don't have a relationship with God, he can't have a relationship with himself. So unfortunately, he'll never have a relationship with you. And maybe that's the reason why your communication is non-existent today. Oh, sure, you can enjoy screams of passion. Y'all got that on lock. Make you think, make you get up in the wee morning and fix a sandwich. But what about the times where stress is there? Is that same passion illustrated? And see, here's a problem that a lot of people get misconstrued. For those who are in relationships, you know why your relationships are challenged right now? It's because you don't have a relationship with yourself first. Your mate, your spouse, I ain't talking about your boyfriend. I ain't talking about your girlfriend. I'm talking about your husband or your wife to be. Right off the bat, when you have a disagreement, have a different opinion, if they genuinely love you, guess what? They're going to innately want to seek resolution, even if it means being silent. Because two people arguing and talking at the same time, that means somebody ain't listening. That means viable or valuable information is not being received. So you can't be in a relationship if you put ego first. And it will not sustain if pride is your companion. Who am I talking to? A lot of times, people in relationships, one of the biggest challenges is finances. Oh, I know I got your attention now, don't I? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? Your finances will be back on track when you come up with a game plan and decide what's priority. You realize that people are more um, comfortable with the struggle than the victory. So, what I'm trying to say is this: indirectly, you have a certain pattern innately connected to your life. There are certain things you do that you don't even think about. Like there's a certain way you sleep in your bed. There's a certain way that you walk to the bathroom. There's a certain way that you cook your food. There's a certain way you drive to work. And this is done by spiritual influence. You may call it instinct. But there's a pattern. You ever thought or questioned where the influence came from? And what I mean by the influence, I'm talking about the examples that you were taught. I'll give you a second to think about it. Because one thing is true. The five most influential people in your life set the template of your mentality. So if you were raised in dysfunction, if you were raised in an environment where love was not the example, because a lot of times as men, we misconstrued actual love, compassion as providing. You see it all the time. You hear it all the time. Well, my dad didn't ever tell me he loved me, but he always provided. That was his way of showing he loved us because the investment is there. The nurturing of the process, not the individuals. And we become inundated in that routine. You think that don't have an effect on how you see the world? I'll do one better. First of all, let me throw this disclaimer over. You hear this in the background? That's because I got an F-16 flying over my house. So bear with me. What I'm trying to get you all to understand is this. This is your life. This plant. See how this metal rod is sitting straight up? That's your spirit. See how God's here. The template is there. It's straight. This is your life. If your life does not have the guidance, it will just go wherever it wants to go, no matter what the environment is. If it doesn't have the proper environment, it cannot flourish, no matter how deep the roots are. Your roots is nothing but an illustration of your legacy. You know, your elders, the people that walked before you, the people that made the way. And even if they're not in your life today, the expectation is still there. So the question should be asked, why won't you? And I know somebody's like, well, Gerald, I'm just who I am. and that's just the way it is, then you need to come to terms and accept the fact that you choose your misery over your peace of mind. People do it all the time. Oh, well, I want to be free, Gerald, but I can't because I'm married. I got these kids, and I'll make the sacrifice and wait till they be grown. But what you don't realize is you're teaching them to be dysfunctional just as you did, because you wouldn't be truthful to yourself. You'll never find peace with a secret lover. Who am I talking to? Well, that's all I know. I do me. Well, how's that working? How you sleeping at night? How's those dreams? How's those dreams? I'm not making fun of that. Ain't nothing worse to see a broken woman or a child that is terrified, or a young boy that has no guidance or understanding what is required to validate his last name. Doesn't matter, King. I keep trying to tell you, it don't matter what kind of wood you're working with. It doesn't matter what's in your pocket. You can't buy respect. Doesn't matter how many people you sleep with. You'll come to understand, and this is not shade, because I can tell you, when I was in my 20s, oh, let me speak my truth. I lost my virginity when I was 18 years old. Oh, I was the king of the third base. Oh, I kiss you down. Oh yeah, I was a good boyfriend, but I treasured my virginity, my pureness. But the devil would have something better, because the devil would deceive me and trick me, and I would give my greatest gift next to my life to a girl that was 16, but carried herself as she was 25. Totally naive. I was very naive, because this person was very mature. She didn't dress, and I didn't think to ask. But God had something to show me. And I think through my 20s and my 30s, all the soul ties that were being latched onto my life. Because there were a lot of women. A lot. No, I know nobody saying, I knew you was a dog. No, I wasn't a dog. I was a lonely puppy. I know somebody's laughing about that. Yeah. Because even with it, every dog wants to answer the longing of being loyal, a sense of belonging. And that was my challenge through my life. I always wanted to belong. I don't know a man on this planet that doesn't want a place that in his heart, this is home. Now, granted, the structure is only a structure, but the moment that love persists, that's your home. But you'll never be able to acquire that until you place God first. Don't believe me? Just look at that last breakup you just had. What about that? What about that choice you made in the midnight hour? And you said, if they only knew, if somebody ever found out, I could never lift my head. That's just the devil. That's the devil wants you to have shame. That's why, Queens, I keep trying to get you to understand. You are the living example of the flower. Every aspect of you is the metaphor of the flower. So if you don't see your value, what happens to a flower that goes wild? She's not upright. Her branches are always wide. Her fragrance is turned to stench. And as she exposes herself, seeking to, to deepen her roots somewhere, her petals get broken. The stems, which your stem is nothing but your brain, your awareness becomes compromised. But even with a wildflower that has stems that are broken down because of the environment, guess what? Them roots are strong, baby girl. They strong. And you still have work that you must do. So I'm saying this to somebody because you've been wrestling with the stigma of your sexuality. You know that where you are now, you are unequivocally, you know for a fact you are a sexual being. And you, at times, use that as a weapon. You know your body very well as you know what stimulates you on a intellectual level too. Who am I talking to? That's why not just anybody can get your attention. No matter if you have a scowl on your face or an icy disposition, you still know the little girl in you longs to feel emotionally safe. Now, don't you? And that's where the contradictions is, because you're attracted to the worldly effects because you think that, well, this person can open this door. This person can afford this opportunity. And I don't have to do little work to invest in it. I can just exchange time. But how's that working with you emotionally? Hmm? You don't like those words when they cavalierly fall from the lips of those who did not value your time. You know why they didn't value your time? Because you didn't see value in it to begin with. So what I'm trying to get, family, what I'm trying to get you to understand is this. Just as I have conveyed well over 5.5 years, Queen, you want the pain to go away? Do you really want the pain to go away? Because that's your true friend. That's what's causing you to embrace this depression. You know you're depressed. You know it is. That's why those fad examples that you see online, like, oh, I need to try that. I need to do that. I got a feeling right now somebody in the back of my mind said, you know what? I don't know why I spent all this money on that. I thought that this was going to make me, make me stand out. But you don't realize that you're a diamond to begin with. You was a diamond when you took your first breath. But until you decide to circle the wagons in your life, look at the challenges in your life, and make a decision to tackle them one by one, you'll still be doing this. See, manipulation only sets up a setback and a delay for the person that's trying to do so. That's why I've always told you, I said, stop looking for your man. Stop. That is the biggest lie the devil told to women, that you have the power to seek your man out, to seek your mate out. You don't. You have free will, the right to choose. But until you choose to have a relationship with yourself, the relationship that you long for in your heart, I'm not talking about those Harlequin romance novels. Those are lies. There's only one person that has the key to unlock the other side of your life. Now, the question is, do you want to be prepared so that when that threshold is open, you walk into it? Remember, I said you're being guided and then something stopped you? Listen up, Kings, because this is for somebody. Because you got this feeling that, oh, well, you know what? I got all the pieces in play and I just need this one element and then I've got everything I need. But you know, you're lying to yourself. You're actually listening to yourself talk, but it's for the validation of your environment. Who am I talking to? I keep trying to tell you, your friends. That's a sacred word, friend. That's a blessed word, friend. It is forged and it is the living example of what love is. Because you know what you find in that word? You should find monogamy. That means agreement, bond. Shouldn't that bond be unbreakable? Because if you have people in your life that don't value your life, you can't go with them. You can't grow with them. And guess what? They're putting you at risk. And you know that. You already know that. Just look at that last disappointment. Where were they? But this does not give you opportunity to grandstand. This does not give you a platform to disrespect yourself. This does not give you opportunity to embrace not only them soul ties, but demonic possession. And I know somebody's saying, Gerald, what do you mean about demons? Demons are real, family. They real. And just like you got some that your regimen is, you got sage burning right now, don't you? Well, what's purging your heart? What's purging your spirit right now? Do you think that sage is doing that? You know what sage is good for? Sage is good for giving validation for what is apparent in your environment from a spiritual perspective. Sage will show you what influences that you weren't aware of. Yes. Because listen, a demon cannot have influence in your life unless you receive it. That's how the devil works too. A devil can't wreck your life. The devil can't send an operative like the Jezebel spirit to destroy your family. Yeah, we ain't talking about that, right? Remember, I keep trying to tell you, what you want is relationship, right? You can't have an outer relationship until you have an inner to begin with. We teach people how to be treated. So why won't you use that beautiful word called no? No does not mean forever. That means under review. If it's not of your standards, why do you accept it? And if they see your value, why wouldn't they change it? Because we live in a world of opportunities. And right now, the devil is showing his teeth, especially for 2017. 2017 has been nothing but despair, disappointment, agony, non-accountability. But you know what? For those people that place God first in everything they do, we ain't tripping off of that. We stay prayed up. And as the life's tides shift, we stay above ground. There is no fear. This is not a deflection. This is your God-given birthright. Now, I'm going to bring this home because the next 180 days are going to be very prolific for you. And I'm going to make you a believer too. I'm getting ready to start putting effort in my other channel, Journey of a Man. Some of you know about it. Some of you may not. But I've had another channel I put up, and it's more health focused. Hold that thought, man. All right. Appreciate patience. So I'm going to focus my attention to that channel. No, I'm not abandoning this one, but my focus will be on that channel, which I'm really starting to invest in my health, especially from a holistic standpoint. And plus, I'm ready to get back in the gym. I miss, I went, I kind of shriveled, and I want to get healthy. I want to be in the best shape I can. And I'm not getting any younger. I'm 48. Yeah, see how God do? And it all starts with the right mindset. And I'm throwing this out to y'all. If you guys are at that stage where you're ready to, you want to focus on your health, because guess what? If your mind's not right, your body's not right, and where the head goes, the body flows. So you want that head fog to go? You got to take care of yourself. You got to take your vitamins. You got to drink your water. When last time you drank some water? How about get a good night's rest? That means you got to cut. You need to put that down. Cut this off. And I'm gonna. I look forward to that because there's a lot of things I want to show you guys. Um, for those who know, I reside in Virginia Beach, and it's just a lot. Some of the best things in life are free, family. But if you don't invest in you, you can't expect it's reciprocated. Everything. You know that as manifestation. So you got to make a choice. What is the next 180 days going to be for you? This may be the moment that you will finally have the financial freedom that you long for because you're tired of living check by check. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Until you get your finances right, that's the status quo. And that's what I was saying earlier. You have some people, that's all they know. That mindset of, well, I got this bill. I'll put a little bit on it. But do you realize if you turn around and pay the minimum amounts, you'll end up paying whatever that debt was 3 times over? Did you know that? So you're basically giving your money away for free. Mm-mm. So it's very important that you also have you're financially healthy too. Now I'm not talking about, be like those people out there that you see on those false pedestals out there. Because I'm gonna tell you what, the people that have, they don't advertise what they got. And as I've always said from day one, wealth, what was that? What was I would always say? Um, Real people that have wealth, real men that have money invested on little boards, flashy. And it's true. Because you'll get to a point where you'll realize it's not about you, it's about your legacy. And how can you call yourself a man? Now, what you do with your money is do with your money. But you know, as I always use the metaphor of the ant and the grasshopper, well, guess what? Them grasshoppers are starting to take note that the seasons are changing. And it's too late for a lot of them. So guess what? Now they become a product of the environment. That's why people fall like they do, family. They always do. You see them, they the first ones to play victim. Oh, I didn't have this, I didn't do that, but yet you had opportunity when you were there. But here's the beautiful thing about a person that falls. They always have an opportunity to get back up. You know what the beautiful thing about when people proverbially rock bottom? The distractions ain't there no more. They ain't there no more. Why? Because that's your validation that they never saw your best interest to begin with. So stop beating yourself up. It's a blessing in disguise that that phone ain't ringing. Think about everything that you wanted to do that you set aside. Oh, I need to do this. And you told them, wow, nah, don't worry about that. Nah, let's go to the club. Let's go chase these women. And then your check is gone. And your friends are gone. But your responsibilities are looking you in the face. Humble yourself. Humble yourself down. If you don't like your financial situation, humble yourself. Go get you a second gig. Restructure your day-to-day. There's money out there if you want it. There's a lot of money out there. But you gotta want it. But you gotta first gotta be honest with yourself to change whatever situation you're in. That's what truth is so beautiful about. Otherwise, who you complaining to? Because them same people ain't gonna give a damn about you. That's why they come and go. But keep in mind, they keep their eyes on you though. And the one thing I've come to realize is this, and I'm gonna bring this home. The greatest story, the greatest education that you'll ever come to embrace is your life story. No one can write it. It was already written. No one can walk it but you. But just know, in the intended moment, in the intended time, all things hidden are coming and will be revealed. Some will be stark. Some will be simple bliss. So don't worry. Everything that you've spoken into existence has to manifest back. So make sure that love's there. Make sure, look, at the end of the day, it's your life. I gotta live mine. I'm gonna live mine. Now, I didn't ran my mouth long enough. As I mentioned before, a couple videos ago, look at what's going on in the world now. All this confusion going on, all this disdain going on, all this false doctrine going on and ideology, and they're going to all fall. Every one of them. Every one of them. But the responsibility is this: be aware of your surroundings, be truthful to yourself, and watch what God shows you. You're priceless. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. I don't know about you. This next 6 months are going to be very prolific if you decide to claim it. I got a feeling. If you make that decision, this will be a moment that you will treasure for the rest of your life. Be blessed, family.